there has been a bomb blast or an explosion in the Red Fort area of New Delhi, India. Adil, and I do know that Asim Munir, before he became Field Marshal, used Pahalgam terror attack as the premise for coming out into a direct conflict with India, and use that, leverage that. And now, just a day when we're talking about 27th Amendment that will make Asim Munir also powerful in Pakistan, we are looking at yet another attack. Should this be a terror attack? Should Pakistani involvement or hand be seen in this attack? What would your response be to what Asim Munir is doing, and what is he planning in India and for India?
Geeta, so far we don't have facts at hand about the Red Fort attack, and I'm really sorry to hear about it, and I sympathize with the victims of the attack. But ironically, just last evening, in fact, 12 hours ago, I did this vlog on my YouTube channel, Soldier Speaks Reloaded, about China and Pakistan's plan to attack Indian Navy. And everybody was asking, and I did mention it, that why would India involve in another war? Just the same way the 4-day war was fought, you orchestrate an attack across the border. Indian response is predictable, tit for tat. They'll come back at you. They'll fire back at you because there is a zero tolerance policy stated publicly by India because it is a democracy. Very predictable response. So if they're going to respond this way, it will provide an excuse for the Pakistani generals to respond, and they do need to respond. So that is why they'll orchestrate an attack. I'm not saying that Red Fort attack is part and parcel of the same thing, same policy, but I am saying that there is a plan. Allegedly, there is a plan that we need to go after the Indian Navy because the Indian Navy is becoming part of the Quad, and it is becoming a counterweight to the Chinese PLA Navy. And as part of the Quad, it is a serious threat for the China-Pakistan alliance. So if Chinese provide an electromagnetic spectrum, there is a plan, all right, alleged plan, that if Chinese provide an electromagnetic spectrum blockade, if radar, jamming facilities like they had provided before, in case of the attacks against the Indian Air Force, if they're able to provide the satellite coverage, so the Pakistani aging fleet of the Mirages, which is 50-year-old, they can turn into kamikaze flight, allegedly. That's the plan. So yeah, it does make a lot of sense. In fact, it is, and then there is a negative public outburst again today in Pakistan against the 27th Amendment. So now, after the Red Fort blast, the entire media focus has shifted to the terrorist attack in New Delhi. So obviously there is it could be I'm not saying it is, all right, let it be very clear, but it is a very useful diversion for Asim Munir at this point. And
very interesting.
Yeah. So and at the same time, just 12 hours ago, I have presented this sort of a prophetic vlog that I said that, well, this is the plan. They're going to instigate, orchestrate an attack on like it was in Pahalgam. India would react, and they will use that reaction to take down the Indian Navy. But as per my sources, in all fairness, based in Washington, D.C., though, the sources in Washington, D.C., not Beijing, they say that, in fact, the Beijing, there are no comments from Beijing. So obviously, I would also say that it's Beijing's point of view as well, that they are not on board this plan. But the plan to take down Indian Navy, which is vulnerable in the south in the Indian Ocean, then in Bay of Bengal and in the Arabian Sea, and there are Chinese presence reported, alleged Chinese presence in there, and I've presented evidence in my vlog. So yeah, it is plausible. You cannot simply deny it. You cannot simply rub it off because the plan has been conveyed to me by certain senior sources in the Pakistani military. So, and it is expected of a man with a mindset of Asim Munir that he can definitely go and do such a thing. Yeah, he's already done it before to promote himself. And now he requires legitimacy. So he is going to wage more wars. That is not me saying, that is my colleagues serving in the military saying that he is going to wage new wars because he requires the public support and there is no legitimacy. So he wants to rally the public behind him and he wants to present a boogeyman, and there's no other way but to make a new war, because he's trying to do that in Afghanistan, but it's not working out for them because the Afghanis are very smart like that. They are publicly stating that we've got no issues with the people of Pakistan, unlike Indian public perception. The Afghanis is saying we
Right.
got no issue with the people of Pakistan. Our issue is with the colonels and generals of Pakistan only. So
Right.
if
My
this is
fine.
the policy, yeah,
Right,
this
Adil,
is
my
the
final question to you. India post Pahalgam had said an act of terror is an act of war. Is that going to work as a deterrent or as a challenge, or one that Asim Munir is going to use to his advantage? Because if an act of terror will be considered an act of war, then it will be easier for them to draw India in to conflicts and wars that he could leverage.
Geeta, Asim Munir's name ever since he was a captain in the army. He has been given a name by the army itself, by his own colleagues, and that is the deceiver. And it has been published as well in the Staff College Journal. And it's a very well known fact in the Pakistani Army. So he is the deceiver. So he's going to go for the last option. He'll utilize the Indian stated position of a response for tit for tat. And he'll always say such attacks, they never leave any evidence. There's layers within layers within layers in a terrorist attack. You cannot simply present, there is circumstantial evidence always there, but you cannot provide factual evidence. It's very difficult to provide factual evidence. So he will make use of this vulnerability, Indian vulnerability, to take India on. And the only thing stopping him at this point is because he can go on and he can attack anywhere in India through the proxies. It's not a problem for him. All right. He still have got the resources to do it. And there is no way for India to prove it conclusively. They've learned a lesson from previous incidents in that regard. The ISI Special Operation Division has got proxies, and it's a well-known fact. All right, it's not news. Okay, but then the only thing, if you go for an all-out war, he cannot go for a war against India without the Chinese support. So whether Beijing is on board or not, Beijing will always maintain plausible deniability. They'll
That's
provide
interesting.
technical support to them. They're going to do the dirty work. So, but are they going to agree to it or not? Because I mean, the evidence could be very easily found of Beijing's support by the US. So whether they would be able to do that or not, and what will be the result of this great power rivalry, that is yet to be seen. But this man needs to be checked. He needs to be stopped. He needs to be constrained. Otherwise, the entire region, not only India, but Pakistan and India and rest of the region, the subcontinent, the most populous region of the world's future is at stake because he's got the nuclear button, and he's not very stable man, and he's a deceiver at the end of the day. Yeah.
Absolutely. On that count, Adil Raja, thank you so much for joining us here on the network to explain exactly what's happening in Pakistan, as also the ramifications of that, not just regionally, but particularly when it comes to India. Thank you so much.